We need to, Jefferson County Court at Law number 2 is back in session on the arraignment docket. First case that we have is cause number 331154. The case is styled the state of Texas versus John Guillory. Mr. Guillory, would you please come forward? Mr. Guillory, would you please raise your right hand? Mr. Guillory, do you swear or affirm to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth to help you God?
I do.
You may put your hand down. How are you doing, Mr. Guillory?
Fine.
I'm doing fine, thanks for asking. Mr. Guillory, I have 2 documents before me. The first document is titled Judge's Explanation of Rights to Defendants Without an Attorney. And the second document is titled Affidavit of Indigence. On the first document, Judge's Explanation of Rights to Defendants Without an Attorney. Do you recognize this document?
Yes, sir.
Is this your signature on the line that's titled Defendant?
Yes.
And are these your initials on the line stating that I want to apply for court-appointed counsel?
Yes.
Also, the affidavit of indigence, do you recognize this document?
Yes.
On page 2 of this document, there is a signature above the line that's titled Defendant Signature. Is that your signature?
Yes.
Now, Mr. Guillory, prior to signing and initialing these documents that I just mentioned, did you read the documents?
Yes.
Did you understand what you read?
Yes.
And is everything in these documents true and correct to the best of your knowledge?
Yes.
Mr. Guillory, I've read your affidavit of indigence based on your responses. You meet the eligibility requirements for the appointment of a court-appointed attorney. And the attorney that's going to be appointed to represent you in this case is Attorney Charles McIntosh. Mr. Guillory, would you please stand on the forex in front of our court coordinator? She will give you the information regarding your attorney. Once you get that information, you'll be free to go and you have a blessed day.
Okay. Thank you.
Next case is cause number 322044. Case is style of State of Texas versus Anthony McCullough. Mr. McCullough, would you please come forward? Mr. McCullough, would you please raise your right hand? Mr. McCullough, do you swear or affirm to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth to help you God?
I do.
Mr. McCullough, you may put your hand down. How you doing, Mr. McCullough?
All right.
That's good. Mr. McCullough, I have before me the documents. The first document is titled Judge's Explanation to Defendants Without Attorney. You recognize this document? Is this your signature on the line that's titled Defendant?
Yes, sir.
And are these your initials on the line that states I want to apply for court-appointed counsel? Next document is affidavit of indigence. Mr. McCullough, do you recognize this document?
Yes, sir.
On page 2 of the same document, there's a signature above the line that is titled Defendant Signature. Is that your signature?
Yes, sir.
Now, Mr. McCullough, prior to signing and initialing these documents, did you read the documents?
Yes, sir.
Did you understand what you read?
Yes, sir.
And is everything in these documents true and correct to the best of your knowledge?
Yes, sir.
Okay, Mr. McCullough, I read your responses in the affidavit of indigence. Based on your responses, you meet the eligibility requirements for the appointment of court-appointed attorney. And the attorney that will be appointed to represent you in this case is Attorney Lori Perazzo. Mr. McCullough, would you please have a seat in that chair behind this gentleman with the black and yellow tape on it? And Mr. McCullough, once he finished at that one, you're gonna step up. She'll give you a reset with your attorney's information. Once you get that information, you'll be free to go and you have a blessed day. Cedric Brooks. This is cause number 331142, case of Style of State of Texas versus Cedric Brooks. Mr. Brooks, would you please raise your right hand? Mr. Brooks, do you swear or affirm to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God? Mr. Brooks, you may put your hand down. Mr. Brooks, do you recognize this document? And before we do that, Mr. Brooks, how are you doing?
I'm doing all right.
I'm doing fine. Thanks, Now, Mr. Brooks, this document is titled Judge's Explanation of Defendants Without an Attorney. And is this your signature on the line that's that a defendant?
Yes, sir.
Or are these your initials on the line that states I want to apply for court-appointed counsel?
Yes, sir.
And I have another document before me that's titled Affidavit of Indigence. Do you recognize this document?
Yes.
And on page 2 of this document, there is a signature above the line that is titled Defendant. Do you recognize this document?
Yes.
And is that your signature on this document?
Yes, sir.
Now, prior to signing and initialing these documents, did you read the documents?
Yes, sir.
Did you understand what you read?
Yes, sir.
And is everything in these documents true and correct to the best of your knowledge?
Yes, sir.
Mr. Brooks, I've read your responses in the affidavit of indigence. Based on your responses, you meet the eligibility requirements for the appointment of court-appointed attorney. The attorney that's going to be appointed to represent you in this case is Attorney Marvel Provo. Ms. Provo, that information will be given to you by our court coordinator. And once you get the information from our court coordinator, you'll be free to go and you have a blessed day. We'll have a seat in that chair with the black and yellow tape. Michael Harrell. Okay. Mr. Harrell, would you please raise your right hand? Mr. Harrell, do you swear or affirm to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth to help you God? Mr. Harrell, you may put your hand down. How you doing, Mr. Harrell? Good. Mr. Harrell, I have before me 2 documents. The first document is titled Judge's Explanation of Rights to Defendants Without an Attorney. Mr. Harrell, do you recognize this document? Is this your signature on the line that's titled Defendant? There are a set of initials on the line that states I want to apply for court-appointed counsel. Are these your initials?
Yes.
On the next document, which is titled Affidavit of Indigence, do you recognize this document?
Yes, sir.
And on the second page of the same document, there's a signature above the line that is titled Defendant. Is that your signature? Now, Mr. Harrell, prior to signing and initialing these documents, did you read the documents?
I did.
And did you understand what you read?
Yes and no. When it spoke of assets, I wrote down the value, but then not paid for, so she had me going through it, so.
Okay. Oh, assets, you're talking about like
Powerhouse.
you're talking about like the value of
Powerhouse.
the assets, what it would be worth?
Yes, yes.
That's
If it was paid for, yes.
You say if it was paid for?
Yes, that's why we went through it.
I'm thinking that, I mean, they probably, if she's not owning, maybe equity that you,
No. We've already done
huh?
it. How much? She had rotated cup surgery, caught COVID at our surgery. So I can't pass the medical exam on the truck. So her dad's really just.
You did what?
My wife had rotated. She's.
I understand that.
No, her father's blessed us. He's blessed us till we get on.
Yeah, no, but I'm just saying. So the home, is that in your father-in-law's name? That's what you're saying?
Yes, yes.
So you're living in your father-in-law's home?
One of his extra homes.
Yeah. So it's not, okay, well, it would be 0. Okay. Okay, so now, is everything in these documents true and correct to the best of your knowledge?
Yes, sir.
Okay, now, Mr. Harold, based on your answers, appear you meet the eligibility requirements for the appointment of a court-appointed attorney. And the attorney that's going to be appointed to represent you in this case is a gentleman by the name of Mr. Nathan Reynolds. Our court coordinator is going to give you information on how to contact Mr. Reynolds. And you're gonna have a seat in that chair with that black and yellow tape. Once this gentleman finishes out the window, you're gonna go to the window and our court coordinator is gonna give you information on how to contact Mr. Reynolds.
You know, I have a question. Go to now, go next year. If we'll have to come back again, is that what happens?
You're gonna have to come back again at some point, I mean, probably for your announcement, but your attorney, the case is gonna be reset. You're gonna have a reset date. And just stay in contact with your attorney because your attorney is gonna be handling your case from here on out. All right, just have a seat in that in that chair with the black and white tape. Next case is Derek Thomas. We have two cases. First case is cause number 323-360. Second case is cause number 323-364. Both cases, South State of Texas versus Derek Thomas. Mr. Thomas, would you please raise your right hand? Mr. Thomas, do you swear or affirm to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God? Mr. Thomas, you may put your hand down. How you doing, Mr. Thomas? That's good, Mr. Thomas. I have before me two documents. The first document is titled Judge's Explanation to Defendants Without an Attorney. You recognize this document?
Yes, sir.
And is this your signature
Yes, sir.
on the line that says defendant?
Yes.
There are a set of initials on the line that says I want to apply for court-appointed counsel. Did you place your initials on this document?
Yes, sir.
The next document is titled Affidavit of Indigence. And Mr. Thomas, do you recognize this document?
Yes, sir.
Okay. And there's a signature above the line that is titled Defendant Signature. Is that your signature?
Yes, sir.
Now, Mr. Thomas, prior to signing and initialing these documents, did you read these documents?
Yes.
And did you understand what you read?
That's my knowledge.
And is everything in these documents true and correct to the best of your knowledge?
Yes, sir.
Now, Mr. Thomas, based on the responses in your affidavit of indigence, you meet the eligibility requirements for the appointment of a court-appointed attorney. And your attorney that is going to be appointed to represent you in this case is Attorney Alvin Samuel. Mr. Thomas. Just have a seat in that middle chair right there, the black and yellow tape. Once this gentleman finish at the window, you're gonna come to the window when she calls your name. And once you finish at the window in front of our court coordinator, you'll be free to go and you have a blessed day. And Mr. Thomas, you have some you was previously given some bond conditions, is that correct?
Yes.
Okay. Make sure that you adhere to those bond conditions. I think the last time I told you that if you violate any one of those bond conditions, the bond can be revoked and you can be arrested and put in the Jefferson County jail. All right. Next case is Christopher Stabler. Next two cases. Case is cause number 330-372, cause number 330-568. Both cases are style of state of Texas versus Christopher Stabler. Mr. Stabler, I see the last time that we was here, you had waived your right to an attorney, is that correct?
That was the last time we were here, I was planning on hiring a private attorney. And
I see some say a waiver, normally with a waiver of right to attorney. Let me see his file, could you look in his file? Files number 33, no, look in the, yeah, 330-372. That's one of his cases. Yeah, let me see that. Huh? Yeah, print that too. Then.
Okay, yeah, 2 cases, this will take me just a little bit. Have a seat with me, and I'll call you right back.
Okay. Yeah, so that was October 12th, 2021. So you're requesting to, I guess you no longer wish to waive your right to an attorney, is that correct?
That's correct.
And so you want to apply for court-appointed
Yes, sir.
counsel, okay? Okay. Now, Mr. Stabler, I have before me a document that is titled Judge's Explanation of Rights to Defendants Without an Attorney. Do you recognize this document?
Yes, Your Honor.
And is this your signature on the line that's titled Defendant?
Yes, Your Honor.
And are these your initials on the line that says I want to apply for court-appointed counsel?
Yes, sir.
I also have another document before me that's titled Affidavit of Indigence. Do you recognize this document?
Yes, sir.
And on this document, there's a signature above the line that's titled Defendant Signature. Is that your signature?
Yes, sir.
Now, Mr. Stabler, prior to signing and initialing these documents, did you read the documents?
Yes, sir.
And did you understand what you read?
Yes, sir.
And is everything in these documents true and correct to the best of your knowledge?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Now, Mr. Stabler, let's see. Okay, based on your responses, you meet the eligibility requirements for the appointment of a court-appointed attorney. You have probation fees of $625?
Bail, Your Honor.
Oh,
Bail that I'm paying and then also $225.
yeah, but I think the question here was, what's your probation fees?
No,
on?
no, I don't have probation.
So you're not on
I
probation?
just, no, I'm not on
Okay.
probation. I figured bail and the same.
No, it's not the, you just have to answer the questions that's on here. As I was saying, if you was on probation, you probably get the same probation officer. You saying you're paying bail of $625 a month?
$400 a month towards bail and then $225.
How much is your bond?
There's like 3 of them. I can't tell you the exact amounts. I'm paying $200 a month professional. I'm paying $200 a month to a better deal. And then I pay $225 a month for the ankle monitor that you had assigned to me.
Oh, that's, okay. Yeah, that's just, okay. Even with those adjustments, you still meet the eligibility requirements for the appointment of a court-appointed attorney. So, the attorney that will be appointed to represent you in this case is Attorney Charles Rojas. Mr. Rojas, the information for Mr. Rojas is going to be given to you by our court coordinator. You're going to have a seat, and when she's ready for you, well, actually, you can have a seat in that chair or whatever, the black and yellow tape. And once she calls you up to the one, when she's finished with you, you'll be free to go and you have a blessed day.
Thank you.
And make sure that you continue to adhere to the bond conditions. Okay. Roberto Davila, Mr. Devil, would you please raise your right hand, Mr. Devil? Do you swear or affirm to tell the truth, the whole truth, nothing but the truth, so help you God? You may put your hand on it. Mr. Devil, I see here that you, I have a document here saying that it's titled Judge's Explanation, Defendants Without an Attorney. Do you recognize this document? Is this your signature on the line that's titled Defendant? You have to speak up, she's taking a record. And are these your initials on the line stating you want to apply for court-appointed attorney?
Yes, sir.
Now, Mr. Developer, I also have another document that's titled Affidavit of Indigence. Do you recognize this document?
Yes, I do.
On page 2 of this same document, Mr. Developer, there is a signature above the line that's titled Defendant Signature. Is that your signature?
Yes, sir.
Now, Mr. Developer, is everything in these documents? Well, first of all, did you read these documents before you signed it? And is everything in these documents true and correct to the best of your knowledge?
Yes, sir.
Now, Mr. Devil, I looked at your affidavit of indigence, and based on your responses, it appears that you don't meet the eligibility requirements for the appointment of court-appointed attorney. So at this time, apparently you have some excess funds. Apparently, you're living with your family,
Yeah.
not paying rent, not paying utility bills. You don't have any children, right? And you say the only amount of food that you might make for the month is about $150. I guess the most cost you have is just transportation.
Yeah.
Okay, and a cell phone is one that, okay. So based on your response, I don't think you meet the eligibility requirements. And so we can, we may have to get into this.
Fill out a new one.
Yeah, yeah, I already put that on there that he doesn't meet the eligibility requirements.
Fill out a-
Now, let me introduce you, still have 3 options. Well, first option, you don't meet the eligibility requirement. The second option is you can reset your case to give you time to hire an attorney, or if you desire to represent yourself, you can waive your right to an attorney and to represent yourself. What do you want to do?
I'll take that second off, reschedule, take some time to see if I can find out.
Hire an attorney?
Yeah.
Okay. She's gonna have you to sign that other form. Once you sign that form, your case is gonna be reset. Well, you're gonna have to go to the window here, and your case will be reset. Once it's reset, you'll be free to go, and you have a blessed day.
Thank you, Dr. Commissioner.
Okay, so you'll just have a seat in that that chair with the black and yellow tape. We'll be in recess till we get to call our bond forfeitures